The next MonsterVerse film has begun production, which means story details are beginning to spill out from the set to give us our best look at the upcoming Godzilla x Kong sequel. We know that the film is expected to be more serious, grounded, and focus more on the King of the Monsters, which the franchise desperately needs. It'll have a whole new cast, apart from our favourite Titan veterinarian, Trapper. But that doesn't mean it's leaving everything from the new Empire behind. Kong is still in the Hollow Earth, with a newly released Shimo, as they aim to rebuild their lost civilization and protect the planet from new world-ending threats. But Shimo is perhaps the most powerful Titan currently walking the Earth, which begs the question, will Legendary kill her off? After all, any new threat would immediately be frozen by the mother of all Titans before they even get a chance to hit Godzilla. Well, recently leaks suggest that, yes, there is a chance the newly introduced Ancient Titan could be captured and killed off. So stay tuned for all the details and what we believe could happen. And stick around for the unboxing of the new, higher Shimo figure, which has completely blown me away. But first, be sure to subscribe and stomp that like button. I heard 70% of you are not subscribed, so sort that out, guys. You won't regret it. Now, it's worth remembering, take any leaks with a grain of salt. The MonsterVerse community has seen its fair share of fake leaks, clickbait, and speculative nonsense. That said, every now and then, there's a leak that holds a little weight, either because it lines up with existing lore or reflects things hinted at in official media. And of course, even legitimate leaks can be outdated, as things change constantly throughout the production process. Certain plot points might be scrapped, altered, or massively reworked by the time the final cut hits screens. So just to be on the safe side, consider this your spoiler warning in case any of it turns out to be true. We're increasingly confident that Godzilla x Kong 3 will center around the government or a rogue military faction attempting to seize control of the Hollow Earth operations, essentially shutting down or weaponizing the ancient ecosystem for their own purposes. This has been teased multiple times in the franchise, particularly in Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, where Lee Shaw's plan involved blowing up the portals to Hollow Earth, fearing the threat the Titans pose to the surface world. The notion of humanity turning against natural forces has always been baked into the DNA of the series, going back to the original Godzilla allegories. According to the reported leak, this idea was pushed even further, with the government allegedly deploying mechanized, cybernetically enhanced Titans, essentially undead or reanimated creatures under their control. These zombie Titans would be sent to neutralize existing Hollow Earth Titans, effectively fighting fire with fire. It's a concept that's already been hinted at in Godzilla x Kong Titan Chasers, where a new faction called Kanunos has been making cybernetically enhanced skull crawlers. So this feels like a logical narrative progression. But does this leak mention Shimo? It does, and it's potentially bad news. Shimo, the ancient ice titan introduced as an unstoppable force in the new empire, would be a direct obstacle to any government plan to seize control of the Hollow Earth. Her allegiance to Godzilla and Kong makes her a threat to any human faction attempting to militarize the domain of the Titans. According to the leak, multiple Titan cameos are set to appear, with some being subdued and others outright destroyed. Shimo is reportedly one of these casualties. The leak suggests new anti-Titan weaponry capable of immobilizing or eliminating even Alpha-class Titans is introduced. While it doesn't explicitly confirm Shimo's death, her being subdued heavily implies a grim fate. And frankly, from a storytelling standpoint, it makes sense. Legendary has somewhat written themselves into a corner with Shimo. They've introduced a Titan who's arguably on par with Godzilla in terms of raw power and capable of massive environmental destruction through her ice abilities. If she remains in play, any future conflict with humanity or other threats becomes a little too one-sided. The stakes drop if you know there's a literal walking apocalypse on the hero's side. So the only real way to maintain tension in a finale is to either sideline her or kill her off. So if this leak is legit, Shimo's death could serve as a catalyst for the film's climax, enraging Kong and perhaps even straining his relationship with humanity, setting up a brutal final act where the lines between hero and threat are blurred. It also fits thematically. The MonsterVerse has always explored humanity's arrogance in believing it can control nature. The moment you start subduing titans, especially one like Shimo, you invite catastrophic consequences. It's a bold move, but narratively it works. Killing off Shimo raises the stakes, giving Kong personal motivation, and shows just how far humanity is willing to go in its quest for dominance. Of course, like I said, none of this is confirmed, and even if this was part of an early script or treatment, it could be changed. But if you're asking me to bet, I'd say Shimo's future in the MonsterVerse looks very uncertain. But on the frosty topic of Shimo, we have possibly the best MonsterVerse figure that's ever been made. I already had high hopes for this one, and it's honestly exceeded my expectations. So let's take a closer look. You can get one for yourself by following the link in the description. Now, if you've seen our tweets, we've been pretty vocal on just the sheer quality difference between this and the Monster Arts figure that costs several times more than this. Yep, this is smaller, but when I get this thing out of the box, you'll understand why SH Monster Arts Shimo figure is just unacceptable. You can get this big girl for around $66 or $56 if you use our link, which is just insane value for money because this thing is just beautiful. First impressions are, obviously, it's a big figure, much bigger than the Godzilla Haya figure, which I'll compare this against after we've taken a closer look. Also, there was a very strong plastic smell that came from the bag, which I guess just means it's fresh from the factory. Here's a close look at that head sculpt. Just look at the details. You can feel every bump and scale and scar. They seem to have used the actual 3D model from the New Empire, while the Monster Arts figure uses outdated concept art, which is likely why it's not completely screen accurate. One thing I love is each finger on the arms are movable. This isn't something I've seen before from a figure of this price range, so that's just a really fun addition. Here's a closer look at those crystals, and my god, the paint on this thing is just amazing. It has this iridescent sheen, which makes everything look glossy and radioactive, like it came right out of the Hollow Earth. And here's a closer look at that Thagomizer, which is just really cool. I kept needing to look closely at this thing because, honestly, I was blown away. I had high hopes, and personally, it's exceeded them. Now, let's do a little size comparison between this and some of the other higher figures. First off, I've got the Godzilla 2014 figure to compare it against. Godzilla stands at 6.3 inches, whilst Shimo stands officially at 6.6 inches. But you can make her stand up, and she just dwarfs Godzilla in size. It's not completely screen accurate. I know Shimo is quite a bit larger in the film, but she definitely isn't too small to ruin any diorama or display you have going on. And here's the Mega Skullcrawler, another great figure from Haya, and what more do I need to say? Just look at how big she is. All amazing figures, but considering they're all similar prices, if you had to go for one, go for Shimo. She seems like the best value for money. Right, that's all I have to say. Like this video if you want more unboxings or something. Thanks guys for joining us for our Shimo special. You can get the higher Shimo figure through INS Hobby, link in the description. But do you think that Shimo will die in Godzilla X Kong 3? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.